Welcome to this little intro section we have at the beginning of every Hatecast. Now, this is your host, Bryce Allen, and today I'm joined by Jamie Lewis. Yes, he's back again. No, he didn't die in a fit of rage towards all the incels. With that being said, we do have our Fat Burner Titan on sale. It's BOGO, buy one, get one. Today, I believe it ends the 20th, so if you're not subscribed to our newsletter, you would have already known about this sale if you would have just subscribed to our newsletter. With that being said, Titan is our fat burner pre-workout monstrosity. It is all the things in one. Just put in your shaker cup, go, fat burning energy, all that jazz. And without further delay, guys, enjoy the show. Welcome back to another Hatecast. This is your host, Bryce Allen, joined by my partner in crime, Jamie Lewis.
Yo.
So, before we start this little discussion we have here on bulking, right? Because it makes sense that we're doing that in the summer. It's fine, don't worry about it. Since we're going to answer about 3 questions, okay? So, one of which I'd love to hear your opinion on, Jamie. So, we have somebody on Instagram that messaged me that basically asked, is there any downside, because we have Phenubit and Hypnos, right?
Okay, that's an interesting pronunciation. I've never heard it.
Phenubut, whatever. Hey.
Phenibut? Yeah.
Phenibut, whatever. Phenibut. That sounds even weirder than the one I said. But all right.
Phenubit?
Phenubit.
Let's call it Phenubit today.
Phenubit.
Then I'll go back to Phenibut later.
Phenubit.
That sounds like, you know what that sounds like? It sounds like a piece of IKEA furniture. It's like, I'm trying to decide between the Phenubit or the Bornjorn.
It's something like that. If they come from IKEA, I'm good, though. But, that being said, he said he hears that there can be a dependency issue with Phenubit. So, what's your take on that? Like, is it really that bad, or is it something that Redditors overblow?
I don't think it's that bad. The Russians designed it for cosmonauts while they're up in, Mir for 400 days in a row. They wouldn't give them anything that was going to get them fully addicted to it if it was an anxiety drug, because there's no way to fix anxiety when you're trapped in a coffin flying around the earth.
Well, you got me there.
Yeah, and they don't want the guy just beating his face on the window and like begging to get out until he dies. So, generally, what I do, because I worry about having sleep problems, and like we both just discussed, we both had trouble sleeping last night, and I didn't take Hypnos, but I generally do 3 days on, 1 day off. If I'm having trouble sleeping, I try not to do more than 3 days in a row.
My opinion on this is, in my experience anyway, it's gotten to the point where people on Reddit and everything, they don't want you to use anything that you could potentially do without. It's almost like this anti-supplement movement. And when it comes
Is that really what Reddit's turned into? Because it used to be like, let's take everything that'll make us smarter and cooler, and now it's turned into just I guess just like everything else, a bunch of fucking pussies sat around in a room crying about how they suck at everything, and yet lamenting the fact that they're not going to take anything not lamenting the fact, but being proud of the fact that they aren't taking anything, because that's what they do about steroids too. Well, I only bench 150 and my deadlift is 225, but at least I'm natty, bro.
Okay.
All right.
Do you want a pro card and being a little bitch?
Yeah, exactly. You know what else is natty? Eating a bullet.
Well, actually, that is one of the most natural things in the world. In fact, it's been done for longer than steroids have been around. But
yeah, just get that 44 Magnum, turn it around, and put it to your chest, and then pull the trigger with your thumb.
To be fair, but my opinion on it is, look, you run into the same issues, I think, with Phenubit. Let's just call it that. You run into the same issue.
It's got to be a dresser. Yeah. Phenubit sounds like a dresser to me, I think, at IKEA.
But it's one of those things where you run into the same issue with GABA. you take it, and melatonin too. You take it for a certain number of nights, and then you have a shitty time sleeping without it for about 3 days, and then you're back to golden. Like, it's not that big of a deal. Like, worst case scenario, you run out, right? I mean, that's the issue. People who do take it for anxiety purposes, who take it in the, and I mean, I've seen some absurd doses, like 200 milligrams.
Why would you?
I know.
We have it dosed at 250, and that is like the minimum effective dose.
No. Higher. I think it was 2 grams or something like that.
Oh, you know, it has a stimulant effect, from what I understand. Actually, there's a guy that I know who he's a bit of a Dan Duchesne, although doesn't take steroids. He just takes everything else. Oh yeah. He's a guy who low doses LSD every day as a nootropic, and he was telling me that somehow in Iowa he's managed to find a bunch of bisexual swingers, and so before he dives into one of these parties, he'll take like 2 grams of Phenibut, some LSD, and a Viagra, and he just has the best time on earth, he says. Yeah. Says it's better than Coke.
People taking 2 grams of the stuff, those extremely high doses and stuff like, I mean, there could be some dependency there, but like I said, the same thing happens with GABA. If you take GABA for anxiety or something like that, like many people do, eventually your body will start to get used to the GABA and kind of, I don't know, it's one of those weird things. It's just not that big of a deal. Like, you come off of it 3 days, you're good. Like, it's not, if you have mentally addictive personality, like I know some people do, like, there's some people that if they don't take their creatine every day, they freak the fuck out. They hyperventilate, all that stuff. Then maybe it's not for you, but honestly, I would love to see somebody with some cold hard facts sit there saying that they went through extreme Phenibut withdrawal.
Yeah, I didn't sleep for 2 weeks because I took Phenibut for 5 days in a row.
Yeah, there's nobody.
It's never happened.
So
I mean, you could get away with taking NyQuil for weeks on end without developing a real dependency on it, I don't think.
Well, the it's Benadryl, which is what they use, that has that sedating effect now, and it's the antihistamine known as Benadryl. And the thing about Benadryl
is that what it's known as?
Yeah.
Is that the one in the pink box?
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah.
I don't touch this stuff because I've heard it's addictive.
Oh yeah. Well, it's like
it's just a half step under heroin, from what I understand.
Oh my God! No! They removed DXM from NyQuil. It isn't in there anymore.
Oh, so wait, and so now it's on the level of heroin?
No, it's what you give babies to help them sleep if they have a toothache.
That was a joke.
Yeah. Well,
that went over. That just bounced right off your forehead. Maybe you need another juice.
But no, it just it's one of those things where people continuously make the mistake of over dramatizing stuff like this. I don't know. Maybe it's the whole Reddit, Instagram culture that's doing it. Because those are the same people that is like, man, you know what? If I don't, you should really. What was it? You should really cycle your coffee. Is the new thing now. So. I'm all for taking breaks of caffeine just because I feel better, but I don't take it seriously.
They should just use Reddit as a way to hunt down and exterminate weak people.
Hey, it's okay. Don't worry about it. I think if you stay on Reddit long enough, we don't have to worry about you procreating.
Oh, speaking of that, that fucking red pill guy, my God, he's been hammering me. You gotta read this, you gotta read that. I'm like, I tell you what, I read 4 posts on that thing. I would like you to put me in touch with anyone on the East Coast who is on this thing, who would like to face-to-face have a discussion with me, and he should bring his friends and weapons. And one at a time or all at once, doesn't matter. We'll get this sorted out. I guarantee you I will win that conversation. And nobody's going to miss those people either.
No.
So, goddamn, what shitty, weak, pathetic, worthless pussies those people are.
And from the one guy that I've talked to was completely off his rocker. So
he's the ringleader of the whole fucking thing, and holy shit.
We decided, let's just put it this way, guys. We decided a hard no.
I still wanted to do it. I will say I still wanted to do it because what I wanted to do was I wanted to string him along and be like, oh, that's interesting. Oh, that's interesting. Oh, that's interesting. And then beat him with facts.
Yeah, I mean, the dude sounded like a cult leader, but that's neither
he is absolutely a cult leader. But the nice thing about it is it's a cult of the least dangerous people on Earth. I mean, like the guy on the last podcast on the left said, he could put his sister out, like, if these people were coming at us in a wave, he could put his sister out in front with a tennis racket, and she would handle the whole thing single-handedly.
Well, women is like a cross to them. I mean, it's like, stay back, just put a woman in front of them. I mean...
Well, they seem to simultaneously revere and revile women. So they'll have this whole post about how women are weak, women are stupid, women realize that they're weak and stupid, women are worthless. Yet we all want women, and we want to get women. So we need to show our value to women so that we can get them, and so we can trick them into liking us. It's like they took the better parts of the game and then completely got it all wrong, and then made a cult out of it.
Oh my gosh. But how does it always come back to incels? It'll be okay.
Well, no. Oh, let me just tell you this. That's this fucking idiot has been screaming at me about. Oh, which, by the way, he says all Americans are eunuchs and pussies. And I was like, you do realize I'm American. And you do realize that I could literally kill you with my mind. So, like, all right. But, yeah, so there's blue pills, and they are pussies who think that they can still live the American dream, and they will have their hearts crushed and all of their shit taken by evil women, and then they will become black pills. Black pills are incels who have just given up, and they've stopped washing, and they're running over people with vans. And then there are red pill, who are those guys who have, like, they hate women, but they want them at the same time.
And like a masochist sort of thing, I guess.
Yeah, I guess. But they see what the thing is they think that women, they get the women by tricking them, and then they subjugate the women and like mentally destroy them, so the woman is basically enslaved by them.
Well,
yeah, they are fucking psychopaths. That's why I was like, look, I'll just meet any of you and beat you the fuck up. Just meet me anywhere. Like, I'll beat you with a book about history and anthropology. I was just trying to explain to the guy that alphas in a wolf pack, which this is a fact, it's not the strongest in the pack. He's not the one who eats first. It's none of that shit. Alpha means dad or mom. That's it. Yeah. It is a synonym for dad or mom. The end. And the hierarchies in wolf packs are completely arbitrary. It just happens to be whatever the day is. Whoever's feeling the orneriest, he and his girl are going to be like ruling shit, and everybody else will kind of work it out. But it's like they don't know shit about shit. It drives me crazy. And I'm still working on that article about alpha, all that alpha bullshit.
Yeah, and that kind of brings us to that. I mean, the alpha mentality, do you think that's a worthwhile pursuit, or do you think that that's just it's a bunch of guys just sitting there puffing their chest out on social media and acting like bitches in real life? I mean, that's all. What
it is they are trying to convince themselves that they are like tough, I guess.
Yeah.
The problem is that there's no set hierarchy anywhere. And like they'll say, well, Julius Caesar was an alpha. Julius Caesar was a backstabbing fucktard. He was a dickhead. And like he was busy poisoning people and fucking people over. Like he was basically weak. But he just happened to rise to power by being like a subversive douche. I don't think, and then he kept his power by being a dictator. Much in the same way that Donald Trump goes to power.
Oh, man. Triggered. Half the internet. You have a split now in the comment section
fine.
below. You have a split now.
Between thinking people and non-thinking people?
Half the people are sitting there rooting for Make America Great Again, and then half the people are like, my man Bernie. So, I don't know.
I'm not rooting for either of those people.
To be fair.
Really, at the end of the day, I would invite Bernie Sanders into my house.
Yeah?
I wouldn't invite Donald Trump into my house because you know what? He'd be trying to burn the place down and then blame it on me and then tell the cops that they were all lying and then he would be trying to like fuck a porn star in my back room but like pay her off and then kill her and then leave the body at my house and blame it on me. So
to be fair, Bernie would also bring birds into your house. So
you know what? I'd rather have birds in my house and have a house than have it burnt down around my ears and have a murder I didn't commit pinned on me.
You heard it here first. Jamie hates his house getting burned down and being set on fire and then blamed for it more than birds. So, we finally found something.
Yeah.
We finally found something you hate more than birds.
Mel still wants this Sphinx cat, and I'm like, you do realize cats eat birds.
Also, those hairless fuckers are mean.
Are they?
Well, they can be. I mean,
from what I read, they're nice as shit, but they can also open, like, locks.
Oh, yeah, they're like the poodle of the animal kingdom. Of the cat kingdom, I guess.
And I don't foresee me, really securing that lock all that hard. So
could you just imagine like staring at that thing like you and Mel are like doing stuff and then that little scrotum staring at you?
It does look like a scrotum. You know what it looks exactly like? It looks like when the Ewoks turn into gremlins and that one gremlin Spike with the mohawk. Yeah. That is exactly what a Sphinx cat looks like.
I wanted one too because they're hypoallergenic and I'm allergic to cats. Go figure, I have too. But, I don't know. I don't know if I want another animal. I don't know. I'm definitely getting dogs though.
We just have so many shitty dogs in the neighborhood that are constantly barking. I don't feel like we could have a dog in this house and he wouldn't become a fucking maniac from all the barking.
Oh, it would drive him insane.
It would drive him fucking nuts, and he would become a nervous wreck because he wouldn't want to bark and piss me off. But all this barking going around him, he would just go crazy. So,
speaking of going crazy, that leads us into our second question. We got off on a major sidetrack there, but I love it. So, Genius. I had some questions about Genius. Speaking of the Wonder Pill, so. What is the best way to take it? Are there any benefits to taking it acutely versus long term? And what would be the best course to run this thing? I mean, length and timing and all that crap that people want to know about on Reddit. So
okay,
yeah.
Well, the nicest thing about racetams being the class of drugs that Noopept is in, and Noopept is the backbone of Genius, is that their effect is cumulative. So the longer you take it, the better it works.
Right.
There is no benefit whatsoever to taking it acutely, and it's actually a detriment. So basically, once you start taking it, just keep taking it. It's just going to make you smarter.
Right. That's kind of what I've experienced, too. I take Genius with my coffee every morning because stimulants and Noopept actually go quite well together, as well as my other stuff. But man, it makes such a difference when it comes to the clarity of thought. It's like if you had problems before grasping like your thoughts or turning your thoughts into words, which I have a problem with anyway. Because sometimes my mind goes faster than my mouth. Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
It'll be all right.
But it really does help with that. So, and if you have ADHD like I do, fucking get you some Genius. So, but with that being said,
I also take I'll take 2 Genius with 3 Inferno. That's what I do.
Yeah.
And if they're asking if you should take it on an empty stomach or with food, to my best knowledge, you're supposed to take it with food. I know that what oniracetam is supposed to be taken on an empty stomach, but that's the only one I can think of off the top of my head.
Well, with how effective Newpept is, it really doesn't matter if you take it with food or not. I honestly don't think it's going to make a difference with Newpept. So.
I did ask Wayne if we could switch coluracetam in instead of Newpept, and he did actually tell me that I was out of my fucking mind and there's no chance of that. So
yeah,
because
that's because
Newpept coluracetam's like 10,000 times as strong as Newpept.
Yeah. It's one of those things where the supplement industry's changing, and I don't know if you guys have been keeping up with racetams, but a lot of them are just getting under such scrutiny where it wouldn't make sense for us anyway.
Which makes no fucking sense because there's no detrimental effects to any of them.
No, but it's the same thing like with Germany banning agmatine. Germany banned agmatine because it showed some blood pressure lower. If I remember correctly, it showed some blood pressure lowering. Yeah, so it improves blood flow. I mean, vasodilation, which is what it's for. But hey, good going Germany. I mean, and Australia. I feel bad. I feel so bad for our customers in Australia. We have a distributor there now, but it's so hard to get yohimbine into the hands of these people. Yohimbe. So it's just.
Oh Jesus!
Know, man.
I mean, every time we send something to Germany, it comes back.
Yeah, that in the Netherlands, but we're working on it, guys. We're working on it. So I think that's enough questions for now. I thought
you said we had 3. Well, you said we had at least. Or you had 3 or so, is what you said, or
3 or so? Yeah. I let me see if I can't. Okay, no. I answered it in the DMs. So
okay.
They were asking about Genius, and it's currently on back order because we are geniuses. But with that being said, that leads us into our main topic, bulking. And I think this is the time where I ask you what time it is.
I believe it's Rant30.
And with that being said, holy fuck. You know what I've noticed over the past couple years is people just don't get as big as they used to. Have you ever noticed that? Like, even from year 0 to year 3, where you should be making a lot of your gains, people just don't really get that big. Is it because of training? Is it because of... I mean, what is it? Food?
It's Instagram. It is Instagram.
Man.
Everybody thinks that they got to look like Ziz and be like 6'2" and weigh 170 pounds and have his abs have small abs on them, and that they think that's what they're supposed to do. So they don't eat. Because I just wrote about I wrote about a couple of guys. I wrote about Bruno Sammartino, I wrote about Bruce Randall.
Yeah. And
Bruce Randall, in his first 3 years, put on 200 fucking pounds. Like, in his first 6 weeks of training, he went from 200 to 225. And all he trained was arms.
This is the 1950s. Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. He was just eating his fucking face off and drinking gallons of milk a day.
Oh, man, his bedroom. Holy shit.
Oh, my God. That's what I put in that article. Like, his bathroom probably smelled like my bathroom smells like right now after a day of eating like 2 pounds of chili.
Yeah.
Whew.
No kidding. But the dude also...
It smells... I mean, my bathroom right now, it smells like I piled up baby diapers and then poured kerosene over them and set it on fire. That's what it smells like.
Man, you know what? With as much fiber as I eat, it smells like that 24/7. I just fucking roll with it.
Jesus, I can't do the fiber, man. It murders me. I feel like I'm dying.
I feel fine. I just have frequent bowel movements, and that's completely fine with me.
I have frequent bowel movements, but it doesn't smell like it's like 1989 Mogadishu and they're burning tires in there. Like, I took a shit and like the air circulates and it's gone. It's no big deal.
Well, at least here's the other thing too. With Bruce Randall, going back to that, he also, what was it? Something like 5 gallons of milk.
In one day he had 5 gallons of milk.
5 gallons of milk plus 26 fried eggs, plus what was it? When he dieted, he actually switched to skim milk with powdered milk as a way to increase the protein. So,
but he would eat 4 meals a day, and then in between each meal, he would drink quarts of milk. So on an average, he drank 8 to 10 quarts of milk a day, and then at each meal, so his first meal was like 28 eggs, for instance, and a loaf of bread. For lunch and for his other 3 meals, he would go into the cafeteria because he was in the Marines, and he would cover an entire cafeteria tray with pork and rice, and just fucking house it. And the guy just trained his ass off. He would train 3 or 4 hours a day, 6 days a week, and he would eat like a fucking monster all the time.
Yeah.
And he put on a ton of weight. And I decided actually last night, I just said, you know what, fuck it. Powerlifting literally killed my entire love of training, because I stopped training because I loved it and stopped doing the stuff I love. And because I love doing, like Bruce Randall, I love doing quarter front squats. I love doing quarter back squats. I stopped doing all that shit and just started training for powerlifting. I started fucking hating training. And so I quit training for a year because I just fucking hated it. And then I started training for this meet again, and I lost my entire zest for training. And so you know what? Fuck it. I'm done with powerlifting. I quit. So now what I'm going to do? I'm going to try Bruce Randall style. I'm not going to get that. I'm not going to put on 200 pounds in a year, because that's fucking crazy. And I don't want to get that fat. I don't want to. But there's a massive gap between eating like a pussy on Instagram, Christian Guzman or whatever his fucking name is, who weighs like 150 pounds and claims he weighs 200. But clearly he has 14-inch arms at best. There's a vast gulf between eating a fucking kale salad 3 times a day and eating to gain 200 pounds in a year. So I'm going to split that difference. I'm going to see how fast I can get to 250.
Yeah. Well, hell, you know what? You should snap some pictures when you do, because, man, that would be a hell of a thing to document. But I'll say I'm of the same, camp right now. It's like, I'm 27. I'm going to start competing when I'm about 30, right? And I've got to pack on some serious mass. And the only way to fucking do that, I'm sorry, you guys who want abs year-round, but holy shit, don't be afraid to gain even a smidge of body fat. Do you understand how easy it is to fucking?
And you know what? Who gives a fuck that it's summer? Because you know what? Who looks better down the shore? Like a guy who is he's got some abs ish. They're you can see them. Yeah. At 200 pounds and 5'6", or a guy who is shredded to the bone at 135 pounds. I will tell you, and I'll tell you, you were trying to pull chicks. The chicks don't want the 135-pound guy who's going to blow away in the fucking wind. They don't care about his abs.
I don't know, man. That skinny boy emo look is in right now. Fucking skinny jeans, piece of shit.
I tell you
fucking
what,
stupid.
I can pull a 22-year-old girl anytime I leave the fucking house. It is easy as shit.
I know.
Ripped. All you have to do is not be a bitch.
Or be like that one dude who decided that bodybuilder, there was this viral video a while back where he just takes off his shirt in public and decides to ask for chicks' numbers. It's like, cool beans, dude. I mean, and that's another thing is it's, when it comes to picking up chicks, you got to have confidence. You got to go out there and actually fucking try and not expect everything to be handed to you, you fucking ungrateful shit.
I will admit that I used to get drunk and pull that move at bars when I was real lean.
Sometimes it works.
But I mean, I was walking around at 190 pounds at 5'5", and I had veins all over my abs, and I would walk up to a group of chicks at the bar, but I would do it laughing. I'd walk up and be like, "Hey guys, I'm sorry, I'm having a problem," and they'd be like, "What's the matter?" And I'd be like, "Have you guys seen my abs?" And then I'd pull up my shirt, and they would all start laughing. And because if you make it a joke and you're like, "I'm fucking jacked, let's fuck," that works.
Yeah, you know what? I mean, here's the thing too, guys. When I was bigger, I didn't have any problems in that department. it's you be the guy who's approachable, be the guy who's funny. Like chicks love a funny dude. Holy shit! I mean, every chick I know loves a gigantic goofball. And just fucking
every chick I know likes thicker guys.
Yeah, and that's another thing too. Is like with people on Instagram over concerned about fucking being lean all the goddamn time, they're forgetting that girls. Unlike what Stewie says, girls don't really like a vascular man.
No.
They don't really, they're not into that paper thin, like, okay, if you're Phil Heath or something like that, fine. Like, but he exudes confidence. All these guys that pull these chicks who are extremely lean like that just have confidence, and they have everything in the world. I guess it doesn't hurt that there's that, Rolex on his wrist, but, like, hey, I'm realistic. But, when it comes down to it, like, exude confidence. Fucking be proud of what you've earned. Pride, it's like pride. People who are just so proud of their vehicles. You have this car crowd sit there and they fucking like, hey, want to hear my engine, and then they rev it up. Well, like, do that with your body. Fucking pop your chest out, shoulders back, chest up. Fucking approach people. God damn it.
Yeah.
Anyway, I know that was long-winded, but don't be afraid. I mean, nowadays, men have curves too, so it's okay.
I'm not saying walk around like a fat ass, but like
no.
When I was all puffy, like dropping A-bombs, and I was, I don't know, like 230.
Yeah.
It was my first day at Powerhouse. I'm heaving around a bunch of weights, probably look like a complete dickhead, and I walk up to go get chalk, and this chick grabs the chalk thing and runs away with it. And I was like, what the fuck are you doing? And then I realized she's giggling her ass off. She is a side shave with a tattoo on the side of her head, covered in tattoos, and it ended up, she's a professional belly dancer. She benches 225, and she's 25, and she was giggling her ass off, flirting with me. And I was being like a complete roided out asshole in the gym. And she, like, basically tore her wet panties off and threw them at me. So, like, it's pretty easy to pull chicks. And the thicker you are, generally the better you are.
Yeah. And by the way, if you can, I know everybody who listens to this podcast is not 3 years into training, is not 5 years into training, is not 7 years into training, but if you can fit into a pair of fucking skinny jeans, you've got a problem. You need to get some legs. Let's be honest.
Also, you know what? Like the Bruce Randall thing, I put it in the article, but it never fucking occurred to me. But he made it so simple. Every time he ate a meal when he first started training, because he wanted to gain weight, he ate an extra loaf of bread if there was an extra loaf of bread to eat. He ate an extra pork chop. He drank an extra couple of quarts of milk. Every single fucking meal. And he put on 25 pounds of basically muscle in 6 weeks. And then, I mean, he gained 1.5 inches on his arms in 6 weeks. When the fuck is anybody... Nobody... and he wasn't on gear.
Yeah. What does his diet sound like, by the way, guys? What does his diet sound like? High fat, high protein, moderate carb. I mean, holy shit. And you know what? There was no information. That's what fucking frustrates me too. Is there was almost no information on how to train correctly, how to eat correctly. I mean, everybody.
He literally did nothing but arms for the first like 6 months of training. He literally did arms 7 days a week, and he put on 100 pounds.
I mean, guys, there is such a thing, and we've been over this in the podcast before, of the overcomplication of training. I mean, we have so much information available now. Back then, those guys weren't worried about fucking gluten in their bread. They weren't worried about they were just worried about gaining some goddamn muscle. And you sit there and you want to tell me that, I can't put on size. No, you can't get over the fact that maybe you'll have a 4-pack or a 2-pack, but you'll be big as hell. No, you want the 6-pack, you want the, shredded whatever else, because let's face it, if you're that skinny, you don't have legs anyway, you fucker. But, when it comes down to it, like, fucking man up and gain some size.
Yeah, within 1 month of him training the squat, he was squatting 600. And
Yeah.
he had broken his leg in 7 places, which is why I didn't train the squat at first. And then his knee started hurting, and he was like, fuck this. But, I mean...
7 places.
Yeah, I don't remember how he did it, but I think it was a motorcycle accident. I mean, the guy pulled 700 at 400, and he didn't even train the deadlift. And he said that if he would have been able to pull 1,000 if he was 500 pounds, just based on the fact that he was strong because he weighed a lot.
Yeah. So I was looking into that, by the way.
And the power of curls.
Oh yeah. His grip. Oh man, have you seen how just ferociously he grips the bar in some of those images? I mean, the dude was a monster.
He was.
He probably had the grip strength of a gorilla. Like Harambe, watch out. Rest in peace.
Speaking again of a guy who ate big and was humongous and was ridiculously strong, I switched up from writing about Steve Davis, and I'm writing the most rantorific article about Chuck Ahrens, who was he's a guy who's not well known, but I mean he was obscenely strong. Like the people who were obscenely strong at the time, who were champion weightlifters and stuff like that, he would walk up and cold in a long sleeve shirt and pants, outlift them on their best lift with no warm up and generally without even training the lift. He benched 405 for 28, and he didn't even like benching. It was just because he loved doing skull crushers, and he did them with 355 for a triple.
Yeah.
But the reason why it's rantorific is because people always talk shit about gym lifts. Like gym lifts versus, if you didn't do it in competition, it doesn't fucking count. You know what? If you believe that, fuck you. And fuck you, fight me, because you're a pussy. Like, and I'll win.
Also, if it really matters to you that fucking much, if your gym lifts mirror what competition is, you know what? You fucking go ahead and you shell out for calibrated plates. Otherwise, shut your fucking mouth.
Yeah, and you know what? The people who lift that much weight in the gym don't fucking care if other people know about it. They just like lifting, and maybe they like to impress their friends, but they don't give a fuck if some dickhead in Russia knows about it.
Yeah.
The rant is absolutely the most vitriolic thing I've ever done, and it also it has a really cool biography in it about this guy. Well, the most information I could find because he didn't like people knowing about him. He very interesting lifter.
So all the basically what we're saying is all the people of yesteryear who got big, who really put on some size, who really got strong and everything like that, they weren't afraid to eat. They weren't afraid to train hard. Intensity is another thing that I see just lacking today in gyms.
Everybody's just going through the motions. That's the problem with all these fucking programs. When you're following a program, you're not actually thinking about what you're doing, and you're not really putting your heart into it.
Well, it's not even that. It's in my experience, they give themselves room to sit there and go through the motions. It's almost like, okay, I don't want to gain weight, but I'm going to make the conscious decision to eat this cheesecake. This entire cheesecake. I don't want to gain weight, but I'm going to eat this sugar-laden cheesecake or this, ice cream cake because I want to. So now you justify it. Well, people justify training like pussies all the time.
It's also an excuse to fail. Because if you fail, it's not your fault. It's the program. Well, that program sucked. That program doesn't work for me.
Yeah, I mean, there's multiple ways to skin a cat. I mean, going from, which you don't like a structured program of any kind, you just like to go in there and get after it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then speaking to Andrew Lorino, which had, beneficial effects on his training doing the conjugate method. There's different ways of skinning the cat. The main thing is train your ass off. Don't.
I've been talking to that guy for a couple of years, and I did not know that was his name.
Oh yeah, I had to actually. I thought it was Thor Drew.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but no, he's actually in the USPA record books. So I looked that up, and he's raw classic, all 4, total, bench, deadlift, squat in Louisiana State. So
yeah, and he's a good guy. That was a great interview.
Yeah, thanks. And we've got another one coming up. The next podcast after this one is going to be with one of our ambassadors, Zach, and I'm probably butchering his last name, Spelzer. And this dude survived stroke, right? A heart attack, and he also survived his back being broken, I believe.
Dear God.
And
how old is this guy?
He's young, man. He's young, but he's
How the
been
fuck
through.
do you have a stroke when you're young?
Strokes are interesting. They can be there's a genetic component, but my guess is just things happen. Like people have strokes all the time.
I think Dan Bilzerian had a stroke, didn't he?
Maybe.
Or he had a heart attack.
Yeah,
because he stayed up for 3 days doing coke, and then he was going to have a foursome with 3 porn stars or something, and took like 150 megs of Viagra.
Oh yeah, we've all been there. We've all been there. Don't worry about it. Holy crap! Holy crap! That's a party pill right there. That's a party.
That man knows how to fucking party. And there's always a goat involved for some reason, which I love because I love goats.
Is he? I don't know, but every cam shows.
Every picture I've ever seen, I would watch that. Actually, I'd be kind of worried about what a goat's dick looks like, but pigs' dicks, you don't want to see that.
No,
they're like duck dicks.
Find it.
They're like duck dicks, and that's disturbing. That's
hell yeah, evolutionary response to getting raped. Let's go ahead and make their dick a corkscrew.
Yeah. So like every generation, the vagina goes a different way, so then the duck's dick has to catch up. God damn, ducks are evil bitches.
The best game of maze you've ever played. Like, holy shit.
That really is the ultimate biological Cold War.
Jesus Christ. But it all comes down to, if you want to be strong, train strong. To get back on topic here, I mean,
yeah, and if you want to be big, eat big.
Yeah, and Zach, he is one of those guys that went through all this, picked up cardiovascular work in order to help him with his issues, and then got into powerlifting, and now the dude has some okay lifts, and he's doing good. But I mean, for somebody who is a stroke and heart attack survivor, I mean, holy fuck, you guys do not understand how hard the rehab is. Because he actually had some brain damage.
Oh, did he have to learn to re-walk and re-speak and all that?
Yes. So, extremely, extremely inspiring story. And that just goes to show you, he didn't sit there and use that as an excuse. And that right there, if you guys are looking for an excuse, that is one of the primos. That is top shelf excuse.
I mean, the only way you could top that is, I was dead for 10 minutes.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's fucking crazy. You guys are just going to have to look forward to the interview. But you guys have to understand when it comes to bulking, and I can't stress this enough, eating big does not mean you're going to get fat, okay? We know that, unlike in Bruce Randall's time, we know a lot more about nutrition. We know a lot more about training. And
we know a lot more about supplementation. I mean... Exactly. Not to shill our products, but you can take Predator for nutrient repartitioning. You can take a Claw and you can take Inferno to increase your fat metabolism. So there are ways to mitigate the amount of fat you're going to gain from a ridiculous bulk.
And not only that, but let's just say, for argument's sake, you gain 30 pounds of fat over the course of a year, right? But you gain 60 pounds overall. Let's just say that for some reason that's a fucking number that sticks in my head.
Yep.
Look at Big Z. Do you know how big he was, right? And then
he's fucking shredded now.
Yeah, he didn't shred down. He didn't shred down 30 pounds. He shred more than that. He did.
Yeah.
And those guys make that dramatic cut. That dramatic slash in weight, and they always look fucking fantastic. Look at the jawline on that fucker. Holy shit.
Bruce Randall went from 401 to 183 in 33 weeks.
Yeah.
And that was without any supplementation of any kind.
And
that
no
was
knowledge.
No, he just fucking ran and trained and ran and trained and ran and trained and he also did the gradual way that he started eating more. He did the exact opposite to cut down. And it fucking worked. By the end, he was eating 2 boiled eggs for breakfast and like a salad for lunch and then a steak for dinner.
Oh man, so you're telling me it's just that simple, like reduce food intake? Oh man.
I mean, I personally would prefer the keto diet, and the fat will come right back off. But you know, whatever works. Everybody's different strokes.
Well, it's one of those things where, you know, just like you said, there's different ways to skin a cat. But when it comes down to it, like, it's not that hard shedding off like 10 to 20 pounds of extra weight. I did it. You know how fucking lazy I am. I fucking did it. I've cut. I procrastinate meal prepping, okay? I procrastinate training sometimes, right? I get in there and I do my fucking work, and I do good work, but I do procrastinate. If, coming from where I came from, 430 pounds, if I can fucking shed weight, so can you, and especially if it's not that goddamn much.
I gotta ask you this question, since you're a bodybuilder.
Yeah.
Are you a fucking stair mill douche? Are you one of those douches on the fucking stair mill, leaning on the bitch, holding your jug of water, looking as miserable as you could humanly possible, so, in hopes that somebody will notice your plight?
Notice me, senpai. No, I'm not one of those people. No.
I can't stand. That's the one thing about bodybuilders I cannot stand. It drives me fucking crazy.
Well, you know why that is, right?
Just because they like to make a production about doing cardio?
No. So, Kai Green walks on the stair mill.
People have been doing it longer than that, but is that really why people are doing it now?
It's the Instagram generation's reason, I'm sure.
Oh, my God.
But at the same time, like, there are some people that, quote-unquote, and I say this in quotes because it's ridiculous that they need 2 hours of cardio, but they, quote-unquote, need 2 hours of cardio to get down to competition. Now, when the average Joe sees that, like, sees them get down to that 3 or 4, 5, 6%, whatever, nobody fucking really knows, body fat, they end up trying to imitate that, right? And they
Except they fuck it up.
Yeah, and they end up, like, playing that card at the beginning of their diet, right? And then the thing goes completely haywire. They end up at like 10% body fat, and they're like, "I'm shredded, bro," because for the general public, 10% shredded. Let's be honest. Let's fucking be honest. And but that's the reason behind that. Like, when I do cardio, for me, I personally like weight. I don't know why, but I like weight bearing cardio. So like stuff like farmers walks.
Weight bearing cardio actually works. You throw on a weighted vest and you walk on the treadmill, or you walk on the treadmill, not even on an incline. The fat comes off immediately, and it'll come off much faster than doing it any other way.
Also, something like I said, farmers walk, but the trap bars that they have at some gyms, putting some plates on there and just walking around there doing rounds with that, and then in between that doing medicine ball slams. It's fucking awesome. It makes you feel athletic. It's fast. It's fucking hard. You know. I'm not.
People come up and ask you if you're training for an MMA fight.
Right. And boxing is another thing too. I know it's high impact and some people can't handle it, but I absolutely fucking love it. It's just it's the ultimate form of just I want to fucking tear shit up. You know. For me.
Well, you'll get those douches who are like, no, if you do that kind of cardio, you'll lose all your gains. Oh, really? Tell that to fucking Ken Norton Sr. Go ahead and Google Ken Norton Sr., who never lifted weights, and tell me that all his road work in boxing prevented him from holding on to muscle. Because, no. The guy was so fucking strong. He woke up in the hospital one time after a fight. He was strapped to the gurney. And he didn't know where he was, and he was upset because he was tied down. So he rocked the fucking gurney upright and walked it to the door. This man was in critical condition. He rocked it upright, walked it to the door, and the gurney slammed into the door frame, and he fell backwards, which is the only reason he didn't walk the fucking gurney out the front door of that hospital.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
But I will say that, you know, when it comes down to cardio, I mean, just do what, you know, and I know this is supposed to be about bulking, but whatever.
Well, the thing is, like, the point that I'm at least trying to drive home is bulking is the hard part. It took Bruce Randall eating like a fucking lunatic 2.5 years to gain the 200 pounds that he eventually shredded the fuck off and got, because he wasn't lean at 200 pounds when he started. So he shredded down to 183, and then he immediately bulked back up to like 201 for a bodybuilding competition, and then slow bulked well, actually, he kind of yo-yo bulked his way back up to 231 3 years later. So, like, it's hard to bulk. It is easy as shit. It took him 33 weeks to take off the fat that he had gained. Yeah,
and you know, I'll get into something here in a minute, and that's kind of ties into our next thing here. But so Bruce Randall specifically, I think, had it right when it comes to the fact that he bulked up. Then he dieted down to, I mean, this is the bodybuilder. This is what bodybuilders are supposed to do. They're supposed to bulk up and then show off the work, right? Take a amount of weeks, show off the work, right? Get stage ready, jump on a stage, and then back to gaining season, baby. I mean, for fuck's sake, it's not that hard. It's not that difficult.
No.
And those people who beat their dick to Reddit and stuff will love this. If you look at the chemical, the biomechanics of fat loss, it's a much simpler and easier process than muscle building. Do you understand how long it really takes to form new muscle tissue for that son of a bitch to you know, actually get there? Like, it takes about a month, you know, ish, for new muscle tissue to actually solidify. It's fucking hard. You can lose fat like that. I mean, Jesus Christ.
Also, one thing that I wish that I had done in the past was like a straight up dirty bulk right out of the gate. When I stopped wrestling in high school or in college, and I was done with 134, I wish that I had dirty bulked 200 and then leaned out for the summer, and then dirty bulked again, and then leaned out, and then dirty bulked again and leaned out, because my body weight set point would be so much higher. My muscular set point would be so much higher, and then I'm maintaining, because right now I can go 2 or 3 weeks virtually without eating, and I'll still be 190 pounds. I'll be ripped to the bone and 190 pounds. Whereas, so I could have done that 30 years ago, and I would be fucking enormous now. But, you know, you live and learn.
Yeah. And another thing, too, is I know somebody's going to mention, when it comes to the boxing stuff, like MMA fighters, you know. But the thing you've got to understand about MMA fighters is they have a big disparity in their most common weight classes. They have a big jump, right? So you may have somebody, I don't remember exactly if it was 185 to like, or it was 205 to like, no, 185 to 205 is a weight class. That's a gigantic weight jump, you know? So these guys...
Yeah, there's a huge move to, but it's not to add a weight class in between there. It's to add a weight class between 165 and... It's 165 and I don't know, they've added so many fucking weight classes around the 150s that they're bitching that they need more weight classes, and it's like, for fuck's sake, like, don't turn this into goddamn boxing where you got super upper metal feather fucking weight and then 16 goddamn federations. Like, we don't need that. It's not fun.
Well, when it comes to boxing and contact sports in general, one of the reasons they're fighting for weight class is because you're sitting there at 185 and the other guy's sitting there at 220. And I know that's not probably exactly right, but there's a big disparity. No. But
there's also no super heavy. So they're making the big guys cut way down, which doesn't make any sense.
Every extra pound that you have on your body is more pounds of force that you can deliver to someone's face.
Yep. Look at Mariusz Pudzianowski trashing people.
Yeah. But that's why some of the guys look pudgy in MMA and some of the guys look ripped, because they have to meet these weight classes, like, you know. But back to the, man, what were we fucking talking about? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, can we do one more further aside?
Yeah.
I watched the Conor McGregor documentary that's on Netflix.
Yeah.
And now I realize, in retrospect, nobody should have been shocked about that bus incident. Like, that guy's always acted like that, and it's completely not out of character for him. So, just, like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah,
I mean, it sucks that person got glass in their eye, and, yeah, he's probably going to get fucking done a little bit. But I personally would have been like, you know what, I'm just going to take fights in Europe from now on. I would have been a first flight out of this fucking country.
Yeah. Yeah, no, when it comes to Conor, he's such a polarizing personality that, man, some people think it's an act. I think that's just the way he,
That's just the way he is.
That's just the way he is. And you sit there, sitting there trash talking people and all that stuff and get into the ring. And, I will say that he handled the Floyd Mayweather fight very, very gracefully. But they both made a lot of money, so who gives a fuck?
I think this rematch will be interesting.
Yeah.
With the way they have the classes set up. But it was also cool that the documentary started. He had the foresight. He knew he was going to be a champion. He had the foresight to start that fucking documentary while he was still on welfare, and he was an unknown fighter.
Jesus.
That is some confidence. That is a man who is going to be champion.
I want to have that much confidence in myself. Can I just have some of that, please?
I'd like to have that much confidence in somebody else. Like, never mind myself. Jesus.
Yeah.
I don't believe in anything that much.
Oh my God. But
the only thing I've had for 4 years, I had a wife for I was dating the same girl for 7 years, and we were married for a couple of those years. But the only thing I've had that long is Netflix.
Oh yeah. Well, Netflix.
I've had Netflix since 2001. And that's the only thing I believe in. I believe in Netflix.
Yeah. I mean, I think we can all worship that.
Yes.
Fucking Netflix is the future. But,
yep.
Speaking of future, so that brings us to our second, so the main topic here is bulking, and I know we've gotten off on a long tangent, but that's just the way things fucking go.
That's just the way we rock. That's the way we rock.
How long and how to start, I would believe, is where we need to head. So,
how long and hard to start what?
Bulking.
Oh, boy, that's...
I know.
Because here's what's going to happen. There's really no point in discussing it, because what's going to happen is everybody is going to listen to this, and they'll already have it in their head that they're going to get to some certain weight. Right. And about 6 weeks in, and they'll be bullshitting their bulk, and they'll be bullshitting their training. So they won't have gained that much weight, but they'll have gained a little bit of fat. So it's like, well, I don't see the cost benefit isn't there because I haven't gained that much muscle. I don't look that much bigger, but I can't see my abs as well. I quit. That's exactly what's going to happen. It doesn't fucking matter what we say.
Yeah.
If you're going to dirty bulk. I mean, I knew a guy who 10 times a day, it was every time he passed a McDonald's, he would stop and get a double quarter pounder. Every time.
Did he try and take on that challenge? Like, if they asked him to supersize, he had to?
No, he didn't do that, but I think there was a power lifter who did that as well. I don't...
Yeah. That's what I was asking.
No, this guy, I knew him in South Carolina. He would eat 10 double quarter pounders a day. And...
Protein.
It was protein, and I mean, he didn't take protein. He just ate McDonald's all the time. And I mean, he did it. I'm certain he did a good bit of the Reddit's favorite, like, clever phrase. They eat clean, tread hard.
Oh yeah,
yeah. But I remember watching this guy he weighed about 200 pounds, and he was lean at 200. And I remember his client had to take a blow while he was doing tire flips, and it was a 550-pound tire. Yeah. And so this guy was bored. He was talking on the phone to somebody, and he was flipping the tire with one hand.
Yeah.
So, you know what?
Crazy.
You got to eat big to get big. He was a beast. For a little while, he was the number one under 200-pound strongman in America. But he was he was an even bigger asshole than I am, and so he started getting banned from feds, I think.
Yeah.
But
Well, my whole thought process on this too, because we came from different places. You were skinny wrestling, right?
yep.
And then I came from bigger, and I know there's going to be a meme going around like, "Hi, I'm Bryce. I used to be 430 pounds." Like, I get it. I mention it a lot. But it's the only thing that I've done with my life, damn it. But
but you made it. You made it. Somebody made a fake profile to troll you. So
I made it. I basically Jim carried my way out of a rhino. So, anybody remember Ace Ventura?
Wow, good reference. Ace Ventura 2.
Hell yeah. But that's what I did, as I Jim carried my way out of a rhino. But what ends up happening is you do store, and I've noticed that I store fat a little bit more proficiently than somebody else who was skinny, just to say.
Not anymore, bro. You've kept your body fat set point low for long enough.
I know, but I was just talking about in the former
years.
In
the past. Gotcha.
Yeah. So what I had to do in order to gain muscle is I had to do basically cyclical bulking, cutting. Now, I didn't do it the bitch way, which is like 4 weeks bulking, 4 weeks cutting, right? Like, I knew that muscle took time. And because of that, I would say if you came from that end of the spectrum, right? 12 weeks, 16 weeks of bulking, 4 weeks of cutting, just to kind of what I would say, quote unquote, tune up. Right? Because if it's really...
Did you say 6 weeks of bulking, 4 weeks of cutting?
No. 16.
Oh, yeah. All right. Whew.
Yeah. No. So 16 weeks, and you can go to even like, if you're feeling beat up or particularly beat up, you can go to lower volume stuff when you're cutting, because let's be honest with ourselves here. We just care about muscle maintenance when we're cutting. Come on now. But... when it comes to that, worked particularly well for me. That worked very, very well for me. So if you come from a bigger person and you've reached a sticking point in your diet, right, something you should consider is going on like, a bulk and then cutting, see where you're at. Because 9 times out of 10, you get this, especially if you've been cutting for a long time, you get this super compensation of fucking just awesome muscle weight gain. It's fucking crazy. I mean, I know bodybuilders have been doing it for years, but your body's just like, it's sitting there, I'm ready. Feed me. Bulk. It's okay. I will grow muscle. So you'll feel better, everything like that. If you come from the place that Jamie has, where he was, how much did you weigh?
I weighed 134.
Yeah, that was when you were wrestling, right?
Yeah, so I walked around at about 145.
Yeah, so super lean, super, his cardiovascular health was, of course, up there. And he had, a great starting point to gain mass. And if you're there, you fucking bulk for a year at least. Please, you will do yourself only a favor. It's only going to be favorable to you. When it comes to it, just take a year to bulk, 16 weeks to cut, a year to bulk, 16. You will be the biggest dude in your gym, no fucking time. It is that easy, especially if you're a high school student or you're a college student and everybody's too busy on Instagram and taking selfies in the locker room and all that bullshit that comes along with this day and age in training. For fuck's sake. Anyway.
Yeah, even if it's just... Well, no, I won't say that. But like to that point, and just to give, because you're saying how, I know guys who they've eaten like fairly normal but large meals, right, 3 times a day, and then gone to the Chinese buffet after every single workout.
And that's perfect, especially if you're somebody, and that's what a lot of people worry about too when they're bulking and they're in the fitness lifestyle and stuff, is they feel like they can't go out with family. Like, if you can't do that, you got something up here, right? You got something up in your head telling you that you can't do that, because it is totally doable. You want to make sure that you have family time, well, start bulking, go to those Chinese buffets with your family, fucking party. It's fucking cool, Like, it's completely maintainable. It is a awesome lifestyle to be a part of. And you're going to look better than everybody else by the time you're 30 or 40 anyway.
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool. But, just go to a Chinese, or do like the old powerlifting trick, like order pizza.
Yeah, well, that powerlifting trick is order an extra large pizza,
Right.
and then I think you pour olive oil over it.
Right.
I
Right.
wrote about it. But I have a whole series on bulking that we'll link in the
description. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's awesome. And also check out Jamie's STEWROIDS recipes.
Yep.
So that is definitely something that you guys can check out, implement into your life. And hopefully I can get him to make a smoked brisket recipe up on the blog here pretty soon, and we can start cranking out some more recipes for a little special project we have coming up. So, with that being said, I think that kind of covers that. The how-to would be increase your food intake.
It's easy enough. Just follow the Bruce Randall method of drinking. I would, because I don't like milk all that much. I would just make a protein shake and just sip it in between meals, and then just add something to each meal. Every time you eat, add something.
That's an awesome trick. Yes,
it is. It's phenomenal. And thinking back, I know that when I switched from just having a grilled chicken sandwich every time I went to McDonald's to having like a grilled chicken sandwich and a double quarter pounder or something like that, I didn't gain any fat really, and I definitely gained size. It was just like I just needed the fucking calories. I was so goddamn hungry. The idea of having a grilled chicken sandwich was nauseating to me. Like I'd rather not eat.
Yeah, I mean, back when I was dieting for like a straight year, I kind of used that same principle. I was eating, I know I was kind of bro back in the day, but oatmeal. I actually do like the taste of oatmeal, so calm down.
Jesus.
But I had like a bowl of oatmeal with some blueberries.
You were that kid that ate paste in the back of the classroom, right?
I licked windows too.
Awesome. Your parents won't let you spackle anything because you're in there fucking eating a spackle.
Well, hey, it made me smarter, so, I mean, there's that. But just what I did was I started, instead of, I had my regular meals, like, all throughout the day, but in the morning, I just added a scoop of peanut butter into my oatmeal. I mean, it's, like, that's the secret. Like,
except it would be every day you add a scoop of peanut butter to your oatmeal, and then eventually you add an extra packet of oatmeal, and then you keep adding peanut butter, and then you add more oatmeal.
Whenever my weight stalled, right? So if you want to gain weight, it's that easy. Just add, I'm a big fan of that, telling people to add things instead of subtract things, because subtracting things suck from your diet. It just fucking blows, right? Everybody gets that negative thing in their head saying like, "Oh no, I'm getting this taken away from me." Well, try adding shit. It'll do wonders. But that's more of a mental health thing when it comes to this whole thing. Which, by the way, fucking fitness industry is full with eating disorders. But
that's another thing that you could say. When you eat bigger, you will train harder. Because even if it's just a voice in the back of your head going, "Well, I'm about to go have 2 fucking large pizzas. I better train my ass off." You're going to train your fucking ass off.
And you know what? Most of the guys who got big in the past used, and I know this is going to sound weird, but used placebo effect to their advantage. God damn it, if they believed something was going to get them bigger, it got them goddamn bigger.
Fucking cheesecake.
There you go. Speaking of which, I got a little thing to talk to you about after this podcast about that, because I have a little fun eating challenge I'm going to be doing for the channel.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So, with that being said, appetite tricks. A lot of people have appetite problems when it comes to eating. Did you experience that when you were at 145?
No, I mean, from being a wrestler in high school and college, you're always fucking hungry. So I never really had an appetite problem. Now I will stuff myself to the point where I'm like physically ill and then have trouble eating a couple of hours later. But I'll just eat something small. So like yesterday when I was eating chili all day long because the fiber fucking filled me up so bad, I was trying to eat a big bowl of chili every 3 hours, and so I started adding. I'd have a little less chili, and I'd add a bunch of chopped brisket to it. And then I started at like a little less chili. I'd add a bunch of chopped brisket and then some chopped bacon. And so it's little things like that, because you'll find that there are certain things that just fill you up. Like for me, fiber fills me up. I could eat a salad bowl full of rice before I could eat like a regular bowl full of beans and rice.
Yeah.
Like, it just, rice doesn't fill me up, but beans and rice will like have me laying on the couch holding my stomach. So,
And, we discussed it in a previous podcast about the vertical diet, and maybe that's one of the reasons why Stan Efferding kind of included rice into his vertical axis, because rice is one of those things that doesn't fill you up, and you need to find foods like that. You also, one of the old tricks that I've kind of picked up over the years is, which I'm not the best person to ask about appetite, but I do know some things. So chocolate syrup, Hershey's chocolate syrup, I know it sounds crazy, but start adding that to shit, and it's
add
one
it to
of
your
those.
shakes. That's an
Exactly.
old school Bob Hoffman trick.
I know it's a little bro. People did it with Nesquik too, but that doesn't do the same thing. I don't know about that. I get tired of Nesquik, but
You literally can't get tired of Hershey syrup.
No, nobody can. And also, if you're gonna have pancakes are another great high calorie food. Pancake syrup, and when it comes to there is some information on training your appetite when it comes to competitive eating. I'm not saying everybody should go on a binging plan, but look into it. Some of the things that they do is they eat.
Back to your pancake syrup thing.
Yeah.
I'm more of a fan of pancakes butter, because syrup, it crashes my blood sugar, and I'll literally just pass out in the street and vomit on myself. But I will butter the fuck out of some pancakes and then throw some sugar-free syrup on it.
You know what
Butter,
is fucked up?
Butter is your best friend. Butter is anabolic as a motherfucker.
Yeah, and not margarine, please.
No, for God's sake.
Yeah, so
Margarine is like chicory. It was invented in wartime because they needed to replace a staple that was used for war. Don't fucking eat chicory or drink chicory coffee. I don't give a shit if you're from Louisiana. It's garbage. Coffee and actual real
calling
salted
you out,
butter.
Louisiana. Andrew, we're going to need you to...
Don't go in there with any of that fucking unsalted bullshit.
We're going to have to call you out on this one, Andrew. So, we'll talk to you soon. But when it comes down to it, butter is absolutely one of those things. Olive oil is one of those things that's used forever. I mean,
Use
holy
it,
shit.
put it on everything.
Yeah.
Pour it on your eyes.
Yeah, and it only increases something that's very pleasurable to people, mouthfeel. I know that sounds weird, right? But
it's true.
Fat makes everything taste better. Absolutely everything. So, now, I will say this. Competitive eaters, going back to what I was talking about, competitive eaters oftentimes take a day where they just eat ridiculous amounts of food, right? Or they take 3 days, like a 3-day period, and then they go back to their regular diet, right? But what you can do is you can have those 3 days of eating ridiculous food and then go back to a little bit more food than your regular diet. If you need help increasing your appetite, get yourself, and I know this is going to sound weird, but get yourself to the point of almost puking, right? And then just scale up your food. Because you do that, cycle that a couple times, your appetite it will be a new appetite for you. And that has to do with, stretching your stomach, all that stuff, increasing certain things that make you hungrier, So that's a little trick that people can use to increase their appetite. And, shots of olive oil, I wouldn't suggest it. There are better ways. Olive oil too.
Yeah, there's much better ways.
But,
just eat bread with butter. Seriously.
Hey, a whole loaf of it. You just wrote an article on a guy who did that very successfully.
Yesterday I was starving last night, and it was, I'd been full all day from all the fiber, and I was watching a Nat Geo documentary about Atlantis, and all of a sudden I was just craving pizza. We didn't have any pizza in the house. I didn't have any cash on me, so I just went and I got a hoagie roll, buttered the fuck out of it, put a huge layer of Parmesan cheese on it, then a layer of tomato sauce, then more Parmesan cheese, and holy shit, it was bomb.
There you go. And there's other ingredients like that too. I'm going to be working with Jamie to get you some recipes, right, out there, so you guys can implement these. And they're all going to be, there's going to be some low calorie, there's going to be some extremely calorie dense, because that, I think, people have more issues with than the low calorie stuff, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, and I've got one cookbook plan that I've had for a while, and it's also been something that I've meant to blog about, and I've blogged about it a bit, but I haven't written about it as much as I intended to. Is meat pies.
Oh my
They're the most
God.
convenient goddamn thing to eat. They're fucking delicious, and they're packed with fucking calories because of the crust. So you get a massive amount of protein, you get a great amount of fat, you get some carbs. I'm big on dipping sauces for them, so I've got a whole bunch of like hot sauces and other sauces you can dip it in, and they're all banging. So I gotta get on top of that, and I'll work with Bryce on that. Bryce, I'll work with you on that.
Yeah. So also that brings me up to a good question, because I did have the other question. I remember it now. So when it comes to the apex predator diet, we've had some questions about that, including one on the Facebook, which you answered before me. You son of a bitch! You're so fast when it comes to that. But when it comes to the apex predator diet, would you say that you personally, the way you work, are you carb phobic? Because I think that's a misconception. I think we've covered that before, but just kind of go into that.
When it comes to being lean, yes, because the whole thing about the apex predator diet is getting lean. It's right. I mean, it's a lean bulk. So I am carb phobic in terms of lean bulking. Although I do have I have a version of it for people. I call it for Italians and athletes, because every Italian, like Thor Drew, he was like, I can't live without carbs. He made it 5 days without carbs and whooped ass in his meat. So
there you fucking go.
Yeah, because I helped him with his weight cut.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would say that in the past I was carb phobic. I mean, I did the apex predator diet as a lean bulk for like 7 years. In retrospect, I wish I would have dirty bulked, but it is possible to keto diet and lean bulk, and that's what I did.
Right. You know what? I'm of the opinion that one of the things that one of the tools in their arsenal is they don't use to kind of be leaner while they're bulking, because people are really extremely, almost phobically afraid of that. Like, they're afraid, right, of getting fat when they bulk.
Yeah.
Cyclical keto, it's been used for fucking ever.
Well, APD is a cyclical keto diet. So, like, I was eating a shitload of carbs one day a week, but I had veins in my abs for 7 years, nonstop, every day.
Yeah, and that's, I mean, more people need to kind of, if they haven't tried the approach, try that approach. Because if you're more prone to gaining weight like I was a couple of years ago, now, for some reason, I can just, like, body fat just comes off, no problem, it's fine. I'm still trying to understand what fundamentally changed with my biological chemistry in order to make that happen. I've just become like a furnace. But when it comes to, even without the help of fat burners and other stuff like that, right? Like, I drop weight pretty fast. But when it comes to staying leaner, cyclical keto diet is something that I would implore everybody to look into and use, and have that as a little card you can play. You know, because just like when you're dieting, you have all these cards and you just blow them all. Well, what the fuck? If you play all your cards when you're bulking, you're going to get fat.
Yeah.
You know?
But I would also say that if somebody is super concerned about the fat they put on with a dirty bulk, just say you blow it out and you live on fucking hot dogs and pizza for like 6 months and you gain like 50 pounds and 30 of it's fat. You put on 20 pounds in 6 months. Holy shit. The fastest way to get it off is something called a protein-sparing modified fast.
Right.
T-Nation wrote about it. They called it the Velocity Diet.
Yeah. It's
basically just 6 protein shakes a day. I would have them in cream, but I mean, if you did that for 30 days, you'd probably get all that fat off.
Not only that, but something people have been doing, and I know Steve Baker, which is the carnivore diet guy, he kind of follows this kind of, but not really. Meat and water. I mean, yeah. That's what they did in that's what they did in the 80s. I mean, they did it crazy. Like Serge Nubret used to just do
It's like 4 pounds of horse meat and water.
Yeah.
That was it.
And that's all. It just fucking works. It's all you need to do. Like, stop having anxiety attacks about gaining a little bit of fat. It's actually may increase your performance too. It will increase your performance. It's more weight equals more weight moved.
And to a point, it will increase your dick performance or your vaginal performance as well. So,
exactly.
Because, your hormonal profile will be much better. Like to the 2 women that are out there, your hormonal profile will be better. So you'll fuck better. So you'll fight better, you'll lift better, and you'll fuck better.
Yeah, it's all the good things. So,
because I guarantee you, Jeff's side, he would lose in a fight to a cardboard cutout of Gilbert Gottfried.
Oh my God.
I would just hold it up, and I would just imitate him with doing an Affleck, and then just lightly tap him with it, and he would just fall down dead.
If you guys want to go ahead and contact Jeff's side in order to make this viral video happen, please. Please.
It could be 2-on-1, him and Christian Guzman.
Oh yeah.
In his pink capri pants, skipping around.
Yeah.
Holy shit! I bet his girlfriend fights better than he does.
Oh, that's low.
Or
that's
his ex-girlfriend now, I guess.
Oh man. Well, actually, that's about right nowadays.
His ex-beard, we'll call her.
Okay. Ex-beard.
Gotcha. You don't get that?
I completely.
All right.
Yeah.
Everybody else can Google it.
Yeah, it's everything's a conspiracy. It's a cover up. Don't worry about it.
It's all.
But it'll be fine. I had to throw it in.
Yeah.
People already want a shirt of that.
He used to message me every time, like right after podcast. He'd be like, "It'll be fine," and then I reply to him, and it'll be fine.
I had to throw it in there. People are already wanting a shirt with that made. So
really, that's awesome.
It's fucking stupid. It's something I've always said way too much, and now it's kind of caught on. That's awesome though, guys. I appreciate it. But
hey, you know what? It'll be fine.
Yeah, it'll be fine. So, training tips when bulking, including frequency, volume, rep schemes, and whatever else. I mean, is there anything that you did in the past, like what worked for you when it comes to frequency, volume, all that stuff?
I've written about this so many times. Really, the more frequency, the better. And
especially in rear delts, man.
Oh my God, your rear delts grow. Like, if you train them every session, you will have the most glorious rear delts that a human being's ever had. I mean,
glorious.
You cannot train rear delts enough. And to all you bench bros out there, train your fucking rear delts and stop doing front raises for the love of all that's holy.
Yeah, and that's another thing we can kind of get into, because I'm glad you brought that up. People tend to just overblast their front delts.
Oh my God!
It's insane.
I mean, it hurts me to. And then they're like, "Oh, I can't overhead press because I have shoulder problems." And it's like, you have shoulder problems because you bench all the time and you fucking do front raises every time I see you do shoulders.
What kills me is these guys who go in there and bench. Oh my God! These guys who go in there and bench, then they do front raises with the dumbbell one at a time, and then they go with the barbell just to kind of burn out those front delts, baby.
And then they do the pumps. Then they do the pumps straight out. Like to punch the air. And it's not that I'd be a bench bro. I have no problem with that, because I guarantee you're a bench bro, you outbench me. Bench bros just do. I've never been good at the bench. I generally avoid the bench. But so more power to you. But just stop beating up your front delts. Plus your shoulders look flat and they look like a pile of shit. Overhead press. Like, settle down with your side raises for a while. Overhead press. Get on that pec deck and do rear delts. Just like a motherfucker. 10 sets of 10.
Yeah. And another thing people tend to avoid is grip training. They think
I'm guilty of that. I go through phases, because I do like the wrist roller, but I only have it in one of my 2 gyms, and I don't go there as often as I'd like.
Yeah.
I love the fuck. I need to make one. God knows we got enough what do you call those fucking things? Not dollies.
Doilies.
No, they're not
No.
doilies. You know what I'm talking about? It's this thing that looks like a. I'm looking around for one. It looks like a. It's what a broomstick is. What is that thing called? It starts with a D.
Oh my god.
We're both
Son of
idiots.
a D. I
Like
know.
the two of us.
I know.
The two of us have like 4 graduate degrees between us. We can't come up with because neither of us are carpenters.
Jesus fucking Christ! Why?
It's not a dolly. It's not a doily. It's not a dinghy.
It's a broom handle.
Well,
PVC
whatever.
pipe.
We have those around in the basement. I should just
Yeah.
make one of these fucking things.
Yeah. And
Just go old school with it and like tie a string to a broomstick and tie some bricks to the string. I'm still looking around for it like a dick. I'm sure I sound retarded because I'm looking all over the place.
Also, if you guys want to go ahead and look up something that I think everybody should be doing, right, is extensor work. You take rubber bands, right, and put them around your fingers and just open up your palm, right? Just open it up, just stretch. It feels fucking amazing. Your thumbs, which, by the way, a lot of people have weak-ass thumbs or weak-ass pinkies, you know, when it comes to the grip on the bar. I know you can't train fingers, but calm down.
There's something else you could do, Bruce Lee used to do, that's similar to that without the rubber bands. Finger flicks. You basically make a fist and then flick your fingers as hard as you can.
Yeah.
Just try it right now. You do 20 of them and your forearms are burning. You do 50 of them in a row and like you have trouble opening and closing your hands for a while.
You know what kind of makes me laugh a little bit? There's gonna be a bunch of people just flicking the air at the side of their computer right now just to see if it works. That's fucking awesome, guys.
And it fucking works.
But it does. Yeah. But you don't need to hammer grip like every single day. I know that's common amongst guys because they think more frequency is better. But when it comes to your forearm flexors and stuff like that, they will get taxed from doing your deadlifts or your rows or your back work or your everything else that you do in the gym. So just once or twice a week. Man, it doesn't take a lot.
There are a lot of grip specialization routines out there.
Yeah.
A lot of good old school books about grip training. Like if you go to Brooks Kubik's website, I'm sure he has old school grip school training. I know that there used to be a thing called Diesel Crew. They've changed their name to like Diesel Gym or something like that, but they're grip specialists, so that works. You can also get fat grips and put them on the bar. They're big rubber grips to put on the bar. And just doing fat bar stuff, especially just doing curls with a fat bar works.
And oh my god, plate pinches.
Yep.
You know? I mean, that's old. That's pretty fucking old school. People used to do that back in Arnold's day, plate pinches.
They did them before that.
Yeah. But that's fucking fantastic. If you've never, just take 2 plates, pinch them together as hard as you fucking can, okay? And then just do it for time.
Just do one hand at a time. Just use tens.
Yeah. And then something recently I've got interested in is these, I don't know exactly what they're called, but you grab the top of a dumbbell and you just squeeze like you're going to squeeze the life out of it, right? And you switch hands and you squeeze.
You can do one better than that, and they're called baseball curls. So you grab the top of a dumbbell like that, and then keep it so that the barbell part of the dumbbell is like in line with your forearm, and do curls that way.
Holy shit!
Blast the shit. You can only use I can only use 15s on that, but I mean you get a little bicep work in, and your forearms are trashed.
And I will tell you something. There's also something to be said if you want to get oddly specific strength for an oddly specific movement, like you want to increase your deadlift strength or grip strength on your deadlifts or something like that. Static holds have been used for fucking ever.
They have.
They work. The great thing about static holds when it comes to like training specifically in the way that in which you grip the deadlift or something like that is you can kind of set it up so that it's specifically set up like that. So you can set it on the highest setting or whatever, right? Lift it up just a little bit and hold that bitch, right? Or on the highest peg, that you can. You don't have to use the muscles that you use for deadlift. Like, you don't have to, below the knees or anything. But you can just hold that bitch. I can do about 500-600 with that before my forearms start to say, ouch,
and you'll get good trap burn in there too.
Exactly. And farmers carries too. I just fucking love them.
You want to hear the easiest way to do it?
What?
Hang from a bar.
There you go. Spinal decompression too.
Yeah, there you go.
All about that now.
Hey, you can revitalize your CNS, increase your chi.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, you can unify your chakras.
Have you seen that video of that chi master who went up against?
No, I haven't.
Yeah, he's this chi master. You guys can look it up on YouTube. I'm actually link it in the video.
Wait, are you talking about the chi master fighting the MMA guy and just getting mangled? Oh
yes.
My god, he gets the I mean, everybody in the room knew he was going to get fucking ruined. Why he didn't, I don't know. But here's the great postscript to that. There is a billionaire in China who is offering stupid amounts of money to martial arts masters to beat this guy. He's offering like $500,000 or something like that to any person who could beat him.
Well, his students, in particular, they were betting him upwards of 5,000 American dollars, and they all lost. You see his students just sitting there, just flying back. This guy flicking his hand in the air.
Yeah,
it's stupid.
It's true, but the power of belief, though, you know.
That, you know what? That is one thing. I mean, if we're going to talk about placebo,
that's one thing about Bruce Randall.
Holy shit!
You can believe it, you can achieve it, and it's the truth. So if you think you're going to get fat when you're bulking, you'll get fat. If you think you're going to stay lean while you bulk, you will stay lean. You literally can cause yourself to die because you believe you're going to die.
Now, one of the things I did want to ask you about this, when it comes to strength in particular, people have this, and I don't know if you would say torn, because I know people can do a lot of eccentric work when it comes to building strength and not gain that much size. I know sprinters do it, right? But at the same time, they have this theory out there that, you know, more muscle, like specifically muscle, equates to more strength. Do you believe that that's always the case? Just out of curiosity.
It's not always the case. You'll always see that. I mean, we had a guy in Tucson who was, I mean, if he was 138 pounds, I would have been shocked. And he was maybe like 5'7", little black guy. He would get on there and rep 405 on the bench, and you'd just be like, what the fuck is happening? Like, does he live in an anti-gravity zone? Like, I'd never seen anything like it, because at the time, I'm weighing like 150 and like dropping 315 on my face every time I tried it. And this guy just like easy as you please. Yeah. So, I mean, you'll always have those guys that have like freakish, and I'm not saying this because he's black. I'm just saying like chimpanzees have much more muscle activation, much denser muscles. So you'll run into these people with just freakish amounts of muscle density like they're chimps. But, I mean, aside from that, as a general rule, the more muscle you carry, the stronger you'll be. That's why you see world's strongest men weighing 400 pounds and not fat about it.
Yeah, I believe there's a strong correlation, but I don't think that's the entire picture, is what I think.
No, I mean, correlation does not equal causation, but,
right. But I mean,
there is a correlation.
Oftentimes, if you gain weight, if it's muscle mass, you're going to increase the number that you can bench or squat or deadlift. So for you powerlifters out there listening, I know that's kind of important to you guys, especially with sticking into weight classes. So
that's actually one of the reasons why I'm going to see like how quickly I can get to 250. I want to see if my bench goes up significantly. I'm actually going to try training it and see what happens, because it always aggravates me that I suck at the bench. Even though I'm not going to powerlift anymore, it always aggravated me that I sucked at the bench.
Yeah. Well, as I'm coming off this diet, you know, I did have a little bit of a strength issue there for a little bit, and I am making, like, because I'm actually eating in a surplus now, I'm making 25-pound PRs at a time. It's fucking awesome.
Well, nice.
Well, you know, comparatively to my body weight. I think my strongest bench was 385. I'm almost at 405, but I'm also 6'5", so long arms. It's okay. I'll get there. I'll be strong one day. But with that being said, I think we have kind of kind of hammered this into the ground. Any other training things that you would suggest people do when they are going into a bulking plan?
I would just say train as often as you can, train as heavy as you can, and don't be afraid of volume. Really, don't be afraid of anything. Because if you look at these old school guys, the guys who were in the pre-steroid era, they trained a lot. They trained twice a day. They trained around the clock. They were training 7 hours a day, and they grew. I mean, if you read Reddit right now, you train 7 hours a day, you have AIDS, your mom dies, like your sister dies, your house burns down, and you will never weigh over 110 pounds. And this is coming from kids who don't train, who probably weigh 130 pounds, who don't know shit about shit. And if you follow these fucking science-based people, I swear to God, stop listening to this podcast. Because those people don't know shit. Those fucking studies they use it's 6 detrained people in a fucking room somewhere doing bullshit exercises. They're working for $50 at the end of a study. That is not reality. So you want to know how to fucking get big? Read books from the 70s. Read books from the 60s. Read books from the 50s. Read books from the 40s. Read our
blog.
Yeah. I cover all these guys. I make fun of Natty Bros, but it's because they think that, like, steroids are magical, and they also think that they're cripples.
They use it as
just fucking stupid.
They use it as a fucking excuse in order not to train.
And they proselytize their lifestyle.
It's like, if you're not big. I'm not big because I'm natty.
Yeah. If you're natty, I don't fucking care. And nobody cares. So shut the fuck up about it.
Good for you. You get a brownie.
Yeah, exactly. And once you get big, it doesn't matter if you're natty or not, because everybody's going to think you're on gear. So it doesn't fucking matter. Just shut up.
Which, by the way, is the biggest compliment you can give somebody who's natty. So,
yeah. Just
so you guys know. Like, if you really want to impress... Like, are you starting to take something, you'll go, oh, stop, and you'll start blushing. Like, it's fucking cool.
It does get old after a while, though.
Yeah.
And then you dark side it.
Yeah. But with that being said, I would also implore you guys to take a page out of Bruce Randall's book, out of Jamie's book, because he's the one that did the writing. Low reps on your big compound movements, high amount of sets. I think that is one of the most effective tools in your training arsenal.
It doesn't just have to be big compound movements, though. He was a real big fan. I mean, he gained 25 pounds by just doing arms. So
yeah, but I'm too much of a pussy to go for.
Train what you love and go fucking nuts at it. And if you don't like to squat, you don't have to squat, but definitely throw some leg extensions, some leg curls in there, because chicks, everybody likes some legs. Everybody does, guys and girls. Yeah. So
don't be like Christian Guzman.
Yeah, for fuck's sake.
If you buy jeans at like Hot Topic or something, rethink what you're doing.
How many emails have we gotten, by the way, of Christian Guzman has $2 million and he's 20 years old, so you should stop talking.
Exactly zero.
Oh, my God. I don't fucking care how much money he has.
Yeah.
Hey, he doesn't have enough money to buy legs, apparently. Or really any muscle.
Oh, shit. That's a call out. But hey.
If he does actually start to train, he'll need that $2 million to buy himself a motorized wheelchair so he can get from place to place, because his legs won't carry his upper body.
But I also understand your aesthetic, bro. We understand. We get your little niche, okay?
And I really don't care if a guy has no legs or not. But I mean, when your legs are smaller than my arms, that looks a little ridiculous.
To be fair. But with that being said, guys, we have done it again. We have come out with an awesome podcast, and you guys should definitely fucking subscribe for this one. With that being said, I think that closes us out. Don't be afraid.
Yes. To quote Bring It On, we just brought it.
We just brought it. But just to kind of summarize this for you very quickly, guys, because I know we ramble a lot. So don't be afraid of food. Bulk for a long time. Try adding some creative things to increase your appetite. Try frequency, rep schemes, and all the different training stimuli that you can fucking muster. And
if you want to try a unique rep scheme, try this. It's an old school Ironman technique. Actually, my girlfriend stumbled on it as she was just like, I'm going to try doing 10-8-6-4-2. And I was like, then do 2-4-6-8-10 at the end. So you pick your first warm-up weight is your 10. Second warm-up weight's your 8. And then from there, you just keep adding weights. So you're maxing out at 6. You're maxing out at 4. Or, well, not maxing out. You're leaving maybe a rep in the tank. Down to 2. Then add weight the whole way back up. So your last 10 should be fucking heavy. You're doing it like it's 10 rep max. You don't want to drop it on your face, so make sure you got a spotter if you're on the bench. But that fucking works.
Also, that I'm glad you brought that up before we close this out. So one thing that I'm a real big fan of is purposefully holding myself back a little bit and then taking a week just to fucking punish myself. It is one of the most euphoric feelings I have ever had when I'm training. And I suggest that everybody start doing that. Please. What do you think about that, though?
I'm not a real big fan of purposefully holding myself back. I mean, I do have a tendency to, I'll leave a rep in the tank. I don't go to failure a lot, unless I'm doing like a death set or something like that. But that's just because, I train so heavy and I have such short rest periods that I will die. I will collapse underneath the bar, or I will drop the bar into my mouth because I never have a spotter.
To be fair, Viking presses, so.
Oh my God. Have you tried them yet?
No, my gym does not have the equipment, but I want to talk to you about that, so we can try some creative ways of doing it, because I've really been interested in them.
Ah, cool.
So,
well, if you got like $60, you can do it.
All right. Well, with that being said, guys, thanks for watching. Definitely subscribe. Definitely also sign up to our newsletter. We have a sale right now, as I mentioned in the intro section of this video, that we have a sale on Titan, which is our fat
Titan's
burner,
BOGO.
Our fat burner pre-workout kind of monstrosity that we designed with that in mind. It's something you can just pop in your shaker cup and fucking go to the gym. Right? Everybody fucking loves that shit. It's BOGO right now, as well as a 20% off code is live. So, take advantage. Take advantage. We need to keep the lights on. We need to keep our internet connection going so that we can do this podcast. With that being said, we're out.
Later.